The sky darkened. The earth trembled. A monstrous roar echoed across the heavens, shaking Mount Olympus to its very core. Typhon had arrived. His form was a nightmare come to life, his upper body towering like a god, his lower half a writhing mass of serpents. Each head on his shoulders shrieked in unison, a monstrous symphony of terror. Zeus stood firm, gripping his thunderbolt, his gaze unwavering. This was no ordinary foe. This was the embodiment of chaos itself. Then, the heavens exploded. A blinding bolt of lightning tore through the sky, colliding with Typhon's fiery breath. The battle for Olympus had begun. Welcome to the realm of gods and monsters. Today, we unveil the most terrifying battle in Greek mythology, the war between Zeus and Typhon, the embodiment of chaos. If you love mythology, legendary battles, and untold stories of the gods, make sure to subscribe. Your support helps keep these ancient tales alive. Greek mythology is a vast treasure trove of mysterious and captivating tales about gods, heroes, and monsters. Among these, the battle between the Olympian gods and Typhon, the most powerful monster, stands as one of the most terrifying and unforgettable conflicts. Typhon, with his overwhelming power and grotesque form, instilled fear in both gods and mortals alike. This battle was not just a struggle for survival, but also a symbolic war between order and chaos, light and darkness. Typhon, the monster of terror. Typhon was one of the most terrifying creatures in Greek mythology. His origins are said to stem from Gaia, Mother Earth, and Tartarus, the bottomless abyss. However, other versions claim he was the son of Hera or Cronus. Gaia birthed Typhon as revenge against the gods for destroying her giant offspring. His sole purpose was to annihilate Olympus, overthrow Zeus, and rule over both gods and mortals. He was raised by the serpent Python in the famous Cilician cave, a place also linked to the legendary battle where Apollo slew Python. Typhon's story likely has connections to ancient Near Eastern myths. Typhon's appearance was truly nightmarish. He was a fusion of a giant and a serpent. His upper body resembled a massive human figure, but his lower half consisted of countless writhing snakes. Ancient texts describe Typhon with up to 100 serpent heads on his shoulders, each emitting terrifying shrieks that filled the air with deafening chaos. According to Dionysiaca, by Nonnus, Typhon also had the heads of various animals, lions, bulls, bears, and more, all roaring at once, creating a horrific tower of sound. Typhon's power was as terrifying as his monstrous form. He could breathe fire, summon storms, trigger earthquakes, and cause volcanic eruptions. Apollodorus described Typhon as a winged giant whose head touched the stars, his upper body resembling a man. But from the waist down, he was a tangled mass of serpents. His eyes flashed with fire. In both size and strength, he surpassed all of Earth's children. His breath alone could incinerate all life. With his devastating power, Typhon terrorized both gods and mortals. He was known as the father of monsters, the progenitor of legendary beasts such as Hydra, Cerberus, and Chimera. Typhon was also a venomous serpent. His hair was filled with deadly snakes, and his poison could cause rivers to swell and corrupt the land. From the waist down, he had massive coils of cobras, which when stretched could reach his own head, emitting an ear-splitting hiss. The name Typhon has appeared in multiple forms throughout history. The earliest versions, Typhoeus and Typhon, were recorded before the 5th century BCE. Homer used the name Typhoeus, while Hesiod and the Homeric hymn to Apollo mentioned both Typhoeus and Typhon. By the 5th century BCE, Typhon had become the standard name. Some scholars believe Typhon was originally a storm god. Ancient texts associate him with the Greek words Typhon and Typhos, meaning whirlwind or tornado. From at least the time of Pindar, and possibly as early as Homer and Hesiod, Typhon's birthplace and battle with Zeus were linked to various locations in the Near East, including Cilicia and Syria. The war between the gods and Typhon. The war between the gods and Typhon was fueled by Gaia's deep hatred for Zeus and the Olympian gods. After Zeus defeated the Titans, Gaia, enraged, gave birth to Typhon as an act of revenge. Typhon, hungry for power, sought to overthrow Zeus and crown himself the ruler of both gods and mortals. The battle between the gods and Typhon was one of the fiercest in Greek mythology. When Typhon attacked Olympus, Most gods, terrified by his immense power, fled to Egypt. Only Zeus, the supreme god, stood his ground, ready to face Typhon alone. With his thunderbolts, Zeus engaged Typhon in a ferocious battle. Typhon, with his colossal size, hurled entire mountains at Zeus. Zeus skillfully evaded Typhon's attacks while striking back with his lightning. Every strike of Zeus's thunderbolt tore through the sky, shaking the earth.
Typhon roared in fury, the serpent heads on his shoulders spitting fire, creating a raging inferno. Zeus retaliated by summoning a powerful storm. Thunder roared, winds howled, and rain poured relentlessly.
Enraged, Typhon lunged at Zeus, his massive claws striking. Though Zeus dodged, he was wounded slightly. Furious, Zeus gathered all his strength and unleashed a devastating thunderbolt. Typhon staggered, falling to the earth. Zeus charged forward, preparing to finish him with his adamantine sickle. But Typhon, recovering faster than expected, caught Zeus off guard. In a fierce struggle, Typhon wrapped his serpent heads around Zeus, restraining him. Seizing the moment, he tore the tendons from Zeus's limbs, rendering him powerless. With victory in hand, Typhon carried Zeus to the Carytian cave in Cilicia, entrusting the serpent Delphine to guard him. As Typhon roamed Olympus, the world plunged into darkness. However, the story did not end there. Hermes and Pan, two gods loyal to Zeus, devised a plan to rescue the supreme god. They infiltrated the cave, stealing Zeus's tendons while distracting Delphine with music. Once Hermes and Pan restored Zeus's tendons, the god regained his strength. He ascended back to Olympus in a winged chariot, ready to face Typhon once more. This time Zeus fought with caution and unwavering determination. He no longer attacked head-on but used guerrilla tactics, constantly moving through the air to evade Typhon's blows. Typhon, despite his immense strength, was unable to land a single blow on Zeus. The battle raged, lightning clashing with fire, shaking the heavens. Zeus then cast Mount Etna upon Typhon, imprisoning him beneath the mighty volcano for eternity. Zeus's victory over Typhon was more than just a triumph in a battle between gods. It was a symbolic affirmation of his supreme power. The war symbolized the eternal struggle between order and chaos, light and darkness. Zeus' victory represented the triumph of order and light over the chaos and darkness that Typhon embodied. The meaning of Typhon. The myth of Typhon can be interpreted in various ways. Some scholars believe that Typhon represents the untamed and uncontrollable forces of nature, such as volcanoes, storms, and earthquakes. His grotesque form and destructive power reflect humanity's fear of nature's overwhelming and unpredictable forces. Typhon can also be seen as a symbol of chaos and primordial evil, threatening cosmic order. In his battle with Zeus, Typhon represents the dark forces that constantly seek to destroy and overthrow the established order. Additionally, the story of Typhon serves as a warning about arrogance and unchecked ambition. With his immense power, Typhon dared to challenge Zeus, the supreme god. His defeat serves as a lesson for those who overstep their limits and threaten the balance of the world. The war between the gods and Typhon remains one of the most significant and meaningful stories in Greek mythology. Through this story, the ancient Greeks expressed their understanding of the universe, life, and humanity's ability to overcome great challenges. This myth is not just a story for entertainment, but also a way for the Greeks to explain the natural world, human nature, and divine justice. This article has explored the origins, form, and power of Typhon, as well as the events and meaning of his battle with the gods. Furthermore, it has analyzed the symbolic meaning of Typhon, revealing the complexity and depth of this legendary figure. The story of Typhon reminds us of the destructive power of nature, the necessity of order, and the dangers of unchecked ambition. This myth, with its vivid imagery and deep significance, continues to inspire curiosity and reflection to this day. Thank you for joining us in this legendary tale of the gods. The war between Zeus and Typhon may have ended, but the myths of ancient Greece live on. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more legendary myths, don't forget to subscribe. Join us as we unravel the secrets of the gods.